Saturday, January 24th. It's noon in the Ukrainian capital. You're watching Freedom TV channel. This is the program Our Time, the main news at this hour, with Saken Amirzaev in the studio. Last night, Russia attacked Ukraine with anti-ship cruise and ballistic missiles. It was a combined strike using various types of air-launched missiles, as well as attack drones. Almost 400 aerial attack assets were recorded. The main direction of the strike was Kyiv. In the Kyiv region, targets were shot down or suppressed by electronic warfare systems. 372 targets, 15 missiles, and 357 drones of various types. There can be no delay in supplying air defense systems. This is how Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy responded to Russia's massive shelling of Ukraine. Once again, he thanked partners for their support and called for strengthening the protection of critical infrastructure. 4 regions came under attack. All necessary services are working to eliminate the consequences of the Russian strikes.
Every such Russian strike on the energy sector proves that there can be no delay in supplying air defense systems. We cannot turn a blind eye to these attacks. We must respond, and respond with force. We are counting on the response and assistance of all our partners. Every missile for Patriot, NAMSAMS, and all other systems helps protect critical infrastructure and allows people to survive the cold, the winters. We absolutely must implement everything we agreed upon with President Trump in Davos regarding air defense. Thank you to everyone who helps protect lives. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, Telegram.
Meanwhile, Kyiv is once again partially without power. Residents were left without heat and water supply, and electric transport was not running. My colleague will talk about the consequences of the Russian attack on Kyiv. Kristina Dombrovska, she's on direct line. Kristina, greetings, and we are listening to you.
Greetings, Sakin. Kyiv is recovering from another massive combined attack by Russia. As a result, there is destruction in several districts of the Ukrainian capital. Residential buildings were damaged, and there are no institutions. In particular, in one of the districts, the top floor of a confectionery factory was destroyed. At this moment, it is known that 1 person has died and 4 have been injured. Considering that it's -8, even -10 degrees in the capital, heating stations have been set up where Kyiv residents can warm up and charge their devices. In particular, we spoke with residents of the capital. Many people even carry power banks back and forth between different places while commuting between work, so they can recharge their devices and continue to work at the same time. Also, as of now, due to the attack, electric public transport is not operating. The subway is running with significant schedule changes. As reported by the Minister of Community Development, Alexei Kuleba, this is the result of the Russian attack and damage to critical infrastructure. In the capital, 6,000 buildings are without heating, and 800,000 residents are without electricity as of this moment. Such problems. There are also issues with water supply on the left bank and partially on the right bank. Utility and energy workers are working almost 24 hours a day to restore heat and electricity to residents' homes. In the meantime, residents of the Ukrainian capital are coming to warming stations, buying tea and coffee and warming each other as best they can. Second?
Kristina, we will wait for your further stories after this inclusion. Don't freeze. Our correspondent Kristina Dombrovska reported on the consequences of the massive combined strike by the Russian Federation on Kyiv. 27 people were injured, including a pregnant woman and a child. On the night of January 24th, Russian forces also attacked Kharkiv. The enemy launched a total of 25 Shahed drones at the city. Hits were recorded in 2 districts. The Russian occupiers targeted only civilian infrastructure. Apartments and private houses caught fire. A dormitory for displaced persons, a city hospital, and a maternity ward were damaged. All night, efforts were underway to deal with the aftermath of the Russian strikes. Natalia Belakudra will tell you all the details.
Russian forces attacked Kharkiv. On the night of January 24th, fires broke out in the industrial district, then Nimeshlyansky, following explosions. Rescuers were extinguishing fires at 4 locations. The attack continued almost non-stop for 2.5 hours. Russian drone strikes hit the roofs of apartment buildings. The private sector, a hospital, a maternity ward, and a dormitory were also affected.
25 Shaheds struck both apartment buildings and private homes. There are people injured. As for utilities, unfortunately, they have been disrupted. Utility services are at work. In total, more than 1,000 windows have been shattered. Right now, all residential buildings near the impact sites are being inspected. We will keep working, as long as it takes to keep the system from freezing.
According to the Kharkiv Regional Prosecutor's Office, Russian forces used Garan-2 drones for the massive attack. Debris from an Iskander missile, which struck a civilian enterprise, was also found in Kharkiv's industrial district.
All those injured in the overnight Russian attack, more than 15 people, received medical assistance. Most of them sustained minor injuries.
Among the wounded is a 12-year-old boy. Those who ended up in the hospital are in moderate condition. All others received medical assistance on an outpatient basis. They have minor injuries. In total, there are 10 locations. More than 60 vehicles were either destroyed or damaged. At the
sites of the strikes, efforts to eliminate the consequences are ongoing. Everyone who lost their homes has already been relocated to safe places. According to the Kharkiv Regional Military Administration, during the attack, substantially more significant and extensive than
1 full 100 powerful strikes. Unmanned aerial vehicles were officially recorded flying over the specific region during the night. As a direct result of these intensive aerial strikes, several residential houses were severely damaged. A local municipal vehicle was directly hit by the impact, and a nearby outbuilding was completely destroyed by the resulting fire. Last night, dictator Putin gave the order to strike Ukraine, right at the time when peace process negotiations are taking place in Abu Dhabi. This was stated by Ukraine's Foreign Minister Sibir, commenting on the massive Russian attack on the night of January 24th. According to the minister, Russia continues to wage a genocidal war against the civilian population and commit war crimes. Such actions undermine efforts toward a peaceful resolution and demonstrate complete disregard for international law. This is a barbaric attack. It once again proves that Putin belongs not at the Peace Council, but in the defendant's seat of a special tribunal. Andriy Sybiha, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on the social network X. Let me remind you, the trilateral talks between Ukraine, the US, and Russia and the United Arab Emirates began yesterday. This is the first time they are being held in Ascorba. The Ukrainian delegation is represented in particular by the Secretary of the Council,
Minister of National Security and Defense, Rustem Umerev, the head of the President's Office, Kirilo Budanov, and his deputy, Serhiy Kislitsia. According to Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the diplomatic team has many tasks at the trilateral meeting. They're discussing the parameters for ending Russia's war against Ukraine.
For the 4th year in a row, people in frontline Kherson have been living under constant danger. The Russian army attacks Kherson residents not only with artillery but also with FPV drones. However, despite the ongoing shelling and difficult conditions, the city keeps going. Local residents work, go for walks, and support each other. All this and more in our report.
Damaged residential buildings on deserted streets, doors and windows boarded up with OSB panels. Some buildings have holes caused by shelling. This is what Ukrainian Kherson looks like now. Before the full-scale invasion, Tatiana lived in the area near the Antonivsky Breach. Now it is one of the most dangerous areas for civilians because of its proximity to the front line. The woman moved from there to another part of the city because of regular artillery shelling and attacks in Pivdoranov.
We've already left for the second time, but people are still living there. There's no gas, no electricity, no water, and
in Kherson itself, there are also interruptions with water and electricity. But despite this, the city goes on living its own life. Shops and coffee houses are open. There's no shortage of food, say local residents.
People, probably including myself, after the occupation, it's become so normal that we hardly even notice it anymore. Of course, there's not enough heating or anything else. But the main thing is that nothing falls on your head. That's the most important thing. We're holding on because we've already been through so much.
The city, there are few buildings left that haven't been damaged by shelling. The Kherson Regional Administration building has been completely destroyed. However, even above the ruins, the Ukrainian national flag and the city standards still fly. Symbols that don't surrender.
People have gotten used to everything. They only react when something lands nearby or flies overhead. For the most part, they've adapted to the situation.
I've gotten used to everything too. When my friend came to visit me, she got scared. But I'm already used to it. I even sleep well.
The attacks by Russian occupiers claim the lives of Kherson residents and destroy their homes every day. But the city holds on, just like all of Ukraine.